Surprise, I'm your host for this panel. So they're going to let me keep a microphone. I get to hold it the whole time. Isn't that fun? Luckily for you, I'm not going to be talking the whole time, okay? We do have three esteemed guests here, and we are going to let them introduce themselves. And then I have a few prepared questions, and then you will also have the opportunity to ask them questions about all things membership. Any membership-related question, recruiting, retaining, anything. Anything, Sam. Are you ready? All right, as long as Sam's ready, I think we're good. So, first up, closest to me, go ahead, introduce yourself. Let us know a little about you.
How's it going, everyone? I'm DeMarcus Evans from JCI Greater Muskegon, one of the Michigan chapters, the current largest chapter in Michigan. And I'm the membership vice president.
My name is Jenna Broom. I am a Springfield, Illinois JC, the current Illinois JC's individual awards program manager. I am also the United to Beat Malaria program manager for JCI USA. Was that everything? I'm a Cancer. I don't what. Anyway.
Are we getting that deep with it? Hello, everyone. I am Emily Knock. I am from the Maryland JC, so I think I might have traveled the furthest to be here today. So I think I'm further than you guys in Delaware. But I am a past national vice president. I was assigned to the state of Michigan in 2018. I'm past national membership director, and I've held a few other roles on the national board as well as locally.
All right, I have our first question here for you panelists. And whichever one of you really feels the most passionate, you can just raise your hand and we'll start, okay? You ready? What is an easy event or practice every member could be doing to recruit?
Invite your friends and coworkers to events. It's that simple. If you know people who might be interested in an event that you have going on in your chapter, just say, hey, how's it going? What are you doing on this certain date? You should come out to this. And that's how I got a lot of people that I recruited to join the JCs, just invite them to events that I thought they'd be interested in. It's the most simple recruiting technique.
Thank you. I think Emily's wanting that microphone. Oh, are you going to do it?
Yeah, just kind of tagging on that too. It's just the most powerful tool you have for recruitment is really your own JC story. Just talking about the organization and being excited about it will naturally draw people to it. I was able to start a chapter in Berlin Ocean City area, and a lot of people wanted to join it just because they've heard about my time and my experiences in the Salisbury chapter. So just telling it, posting it on your social media, showing people the fun that you have doing it, that will attract a lot of people to your organization.
And just to build on these two, I think talking about it, having your why, just sharing, but also using events in your community that already exist, and getting yourself a membership table, getting yourself a booth, putting yourself in that community, especially if it is a demographic that you are missing, right? So the Springfield chapter, one of the first things that we did that we had not been doing was we put a table and a tent at our Pride Festival. It just hadn't been done before. And then we did it. And now we always show up at Pride. We either go as a group just to hang out, whatever, right? So being there, showing up at the events that exist, and like in your JC shirt, just being there is a huge part of showing that you're part of the community and that you have something going on.
Thank you. That's a really good one. Second. I'm going to say second. So our next question here is, what is the most successful recruitment event or strategy you have personally used? And I'm going to butt in and I'm going to answer this one first because it's a very good transition, okay? So something easy that I have done since, I'm going to say 2 years ago I started doing this. I made my first batch of stickers. And I'm sorry, people from, no, I'm not. Thank you, people from Michigan, for listening to me talk about stickers so much. But these stickers are not swag. I cannot say it enough. This is not an item of swag that we gave you. When you registered and I said you're going to get a cute swaggy, that's the notebook. I also still have more if you'd like some. Okay, this is a recruitment tool. This is my business card. I carry a pack of these wherever I go. Sometimes they're in my bra. I was without one when we got our picture taken downstairs, and I was going to give one. That was the perfect opportunity that I missed because she wanted to take a selfie with us because she thought we were cool. And I didn't have this to say, this has our national website on it, jciusa.org. You can go to the QR code. You can type it in later if you want to just use it as a sticker on your phone. That's where most people put them. And you can just go there and you can hit join now. And then you can search Grand Rapids and you can find this chapter, who, by the way, puts on the Santa Parade. I was down there giving it to her afterwards. Don't worry, GR, I had your back. But it's the easiest thing ever. You just have them in your pocket. And surprise, that's why you have them tonight. I have more. Please take them in your pockets. More on this later. Panel, I would like to repeat the question.
I actually want to build off of what you said. I love me a good QR code. We don't have stickers, but I'm stealing this and taking it back. But our chapter has used the "Hey, you should join us" membership cards with the QR code on the back. Takes you right to sign up for our membership. So I just want to expand on that. Can you repeat the question again, though?
Yeah, absolutely. So the question at hand is, what is the most successful recruitment event or strategy you have personally used? I have, by the way, recruited at least 10 hotel workers from our events doing that, just at events casually. All right. Most successful strategy that you have used to recruit members. Humble brag.
I'd say the most successful strategy I've used to recruit members is, I'd say it's a mix between two of our events that we put on every month. We have Java with the JCs, and we also have our M Nights, both of which are events that anyone can come to, that we encourage a lot of people in the public to go to. That's a lot less formal than a GMM, and it's still like you can come meet members of the JC, network with people who are JCs or who aren't JCs, which is honestly what a lot of people in our chapter join the JCs for, like the opportunity to network with people in the community. So I'd say our most successful strategy is inviting people to those.
Yeah, and again, I think probably the most successful thing has just been, like you said, inviting people out. But some other things we've done too is we've approached with my local chapter businesses in the beginning of the year, offering them a sponsorship that would give them 3 free memberships for employees of theirs, letting them know that we would give them the training that could help them on the job, the leadership training, project management training. And we'd also, depending on the amount of the sponsorship, we'd have them mentioned on our website or at certain events. So that's a great way that you can get new members in there, and you can also make partnerships at the same time.
Ooh, yes.
Set up a membership tent like everywhere. That's my advice.
Like everywhere. Thank you. Excellent. So we've set up our tents. We've invited them to the event. I really love how all 3 of you are hitting on invite them to the event. It's not invite them to join right away. You can't walk up to somebody and be like, "Do you like the community? Join us." We don't do that anymore. We invite to the event because you have to get the vibe, okay? So we got them there. How do we follow up after we got their interest? So we invited them. How do we follow up? How do we engage those prospective members?
So, the horror, the phone. You use the phone and you call them or text them. And that's called personal communication, friends. But really, remember them. Say, "Hey, it was great that you came out to XYZ event. I love that we chatted about this. Remember, we talked about this project, or this is another event we've got coming up. Would you like to come to that?" So just doing that follow-up and basing it on, when you invite them to the event, first of all, hang out with them at the event. Get to know them so that then when you make that phone call, you can have that personal connection, right? We join JCs for all different reasons. We stay for the people we meet, right? At least I think a lot of us do. So make that personal interaction and really connect with them, and then remember them, and they'll want to come back.
That's pretty much what I was going to say too.
And I would just add to that, when you do follow up with them, you want them to do a lot of the talking, because you really want to get to know them, find out what their interests are, and then find out how they can align with your chapter. You want to be somewhat intentional with your recruiting, because if your chapter does nothing but events that are with kids and the person you're talking to has absolutely no interest in that, you might get them to join, but they're not going to stay. I know one of the old SG for JCI, the International, Ari, used to always say that anybody can be a JC, but not everybody should be a JC. So you want to make sure that the expectations that they have, your chapter is going to be able to match as well, and vice versa.
Sorry, I'm just over here snapping. Yes. Okay. Oh, this is my favorite question. What is the difference between recruiting a 35-year-old and recruiting an 18-year-old?
Well, I'll let those two start since we do ours 21 to 40.
I can alter the question for you. What is the difference between recruiting a 35-year-old and a 21-year-old?
You know
Well-
what? I
well,
got this. See, speaking from my own personal experience, I'm 32. When I first expressed interest in the JCs, I had a very specific reason in joining. It was to network with people and potentially grow my career. That's pretty much what most people in their like early to mid 30s are about. Now, a 21-year-old, on the other hand, which is actually the same age as my most recent recruit, they're either fresh out of college or fresh into their new careers. They're trying to figure out how to get involved in the community or what do I do instead of like what can I do to get a sense of purpose. Like the difference is, I say in my opinion, the older demographic, they pretty much know what they want. The younger demographic, from my experience, they're still trying to figure that out.
So knowing your audience. Know your audience.
I think you have a lot of differences too, just because the 18-year-old and 35-year-old are in such different places in their life. Also, the membership fee for an 18-year-old might be a lot more for them to handle. What might $100 might not seem much to someone who's more established, but when you're young and you're just getting out of college, that can seem like a lot of money to spend on one thing. So you really have to sell the value, I think, on the younger person a little bit more. And something else, if you're doing that recruitment table and you're trying to recruit to the younger ages, have your younger members at that table. Nothing, I mean, Jeff, I love you, but sometimes the old guys kind of scare people away. So
What if you don't have any?
Your youngest looking person.
your youngest looking and most engaging, but that's when you kind of want to try to find other ways to get younger.
No, it's not a bad.
No, it's a good question. But I mean, that's when probably a membership table to get younger people is not going to be the best option. You probably want to try and find those younger people first. And there are other ways you can go about that with more intentional recruiting. Sometimes just reaching out to them. If you have even just younger friends that you can get to help you for the day, maybe.
And I think as somebody that was recruited at 31, after many years of being poked about it, I think I joined. Yeah, I was trying to really kind of find something for myself to do, but I think that the thing that we're missing on these 18 and 21 and younger is purpose, right? It's that greater purpose that people are seeking. What am I doing beyond just this organization? That's not enough. How am I bettering my planet or bettering my world or bettering my community by joining this organization? And so I think that's where we bring different things into play, and I'm going to talk about it. United to Beat Malaria makes advocacy accessible. It is something for everyone. That is the spark point. Like, you don't have to care about malaria, but you're going to learn about advocacy. And then you can go talk to your congressman or talk to your local people, and you'll know how to effectively advocate for an issue. That is huge with young people. It's not enough to just be part of something. It's to be contributing as well.
100% agree with you. I love you are all talking about the value of being a JC. So I want to open it up to the floor here for a second. What is the value of being a JC? Shout it out. Tell me something. Personal development, networking, relationships. I got a husband out of it.
We've got some married couples in Illinois too. We got a couple. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. What are the other values? Friends. Skills.
Courage.
Community.
I know this organization has given some people some big ass courage that they did not have before.
Mentorships. Belonging. Experiences. Opportunities.
favorite answer right there.
Hey, they made our chapter a beer,
sir,
so
can
that
you
is
stand
cool.
up? We need to expand on this JC bourbon. All right, we'll talk about that later. All right, I'm back. Wow. You, if you are into collecting really random swag, this is the organization for you. I'm here to tell you, Montana has hats. There's cheese curds everywhere. There's strings of not cheese sticks, but strings. It's amazing. All right, so the purpose is the opportunity that we all have. Anybody in the world can click 6 buttons on Facebook, and you have contributed to help malaria. Anybody can do that. I can give $20 to an organization right now while I'm talking to you. I don't know how to put that event together. I don't know who to call to what buttons do I push on the internet to make that survey happen? How do I work that jot for them? How do I do all of these things? That's our value, is that we're teaching that. And that's what you guys are talking about right here. It's wonderful. I have one last question. Then you get to ask some. So, we're going out into the community tonight. What advice do you have to us besides take your stickers and give them to people? What advice do you have to tell everyone to help them recruit tonight and then every night going forward?
Be genuine. Be genuine about why you JC. Be genuine about what brought you and what keeps you. I think we heard it earlier, certain things seem fake. Don't be fake, right? Be real about why you love the organization. And the work will happen. It'll work itself out.
And also, don't be afraid of the word no. Not everybody is at the time frame where they want to join something or join the JCs. So if someone says no right now, don't get upset to it. Don't take it to heart. And it could be also, they could be ready to join at another point in their life. So don't make it the last time that you necessarily ask them. Don't bug them to death with it either. But just don't be afraid when you get that. Don't take that rejection to heart.
Love that.
Don't be a JC salesman. Karina can appreciate this because we're both in real estate. People can tell when you're simply trying to sell them something. Like she said, be genuine, be real. Like, whenever I talk about the JCs, people can tell that I truly love this organization, and I'm not just going like, hey, you 18, you under 40.
I'm so glad you don't do that.
Please do not do that. Please don't do that.
Take my card, call me in the morning. We're gonna make a JC out of you.
Do we have legal counsel coming out with us tonight? Just making sure.
Under no circumstances should you look someone in their eyes and say that, okay? Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Can I give just one more piece of advice, Jill?
Absolutely.
One thing I think it's really important that
Yes.
we do a lot. Do not JC vomit to people.
Yes.
And don't get into, we've got the PMGs, the CPGs, the GMMs. Yeah. You can really turn people off by getting into too much of that term too much at one time. Yes.
I'm going to give one important piece of information, advice here too, is that the shirts that we have, I asked everybody in the emails to bring your JC best tonight to wear. So wear your favorite chapter shirt. Wear something that says JC's on it, okay? You're going out into a community where there is an active chapter. So you need to remember that as you're out tonight. If you're starting to get sloppy, that's when it's time to come back to hospitality, okay? That's when you come home. We'll take care of you. We'll get you a water, okay? Don't go act a mess out there when you have that shirt on, okay? Really, just don't act a mess because we're trying to be young, active citizens here. We're not trying to get arrested. But live your life, all right? Don't call me for bail. I don't have it. But be appropriate and remember that you have these shirts to do that. Your job is to wear it and go out in the community and ask me why I'm a JC. I'd love to. What's a JC? Have an answer for that. Hey, panel, what's a JC?
Hey, I don't have my.
Did I stump you? Did I have to send that in an email? Celeste over here about
A
the
young
answer.
active citizen making positive change in their community.
Down. All right. Emily and DeMarcus, you have until I get to Celeste to answer. Oh, you have a question. Okay. All right, we can start that. Do you anybody else? What's a JC?
I mean, I think she pretty much nailed it there.
It was a
Facts.
very good response.
I practice.
A young active citizen. That's a great comeback. We are young active citizens. Say it with me. We are young active citizens.
We are young active citizens.
It's not a hard question. All right, we're going to open up to questions. Are you ready? You need to stretch or anything? You need to give yourself a hug? Okay, here we go. You can. You want me to stand up? Okay.
Yes, please stand.
Okay.
We can see you.
Hi guys, I'm Celeste. I'm the VP from the Grand Rapids chapter who haven't met any of you yet, and also Business Barbie today. Thank you. I would love to hear each of your 1-minute elevator pitch as to what is the JC and why should I join? You too. I want to hear your 1 minute.
All right, now that is 4 whole minutes, so I will take less than that. Up to a minute. Don't talk for more than a minute. She said I don't do a minute. I hope that's okay. All right, who wants to go first? Oh wait, can I play the part of the rando? Hi.
Hi. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. I'm Carol.
I'm Jenna.
What's the Illinois JCs? What's that about?
So the Illinois JCs is a group of young active citizens that make positive change in our local communities by going through development opportunities and volunteering.
Volunteering for what?
What are you interested in?
Oh, there it was. Okay. That was it. Ding! And scene. That was good. All right. Who's going next? DeMarcus has a microphone. You ready? Oh, hey. Hey, what's up? Yeah, you have to do it for me. I gave myself a different part. Sorry, Celeste.
You know what? I will be completely honest about this. I am tragically terrible at elevator speeches. I cannot do it in a minute. Like when I talk about the JCs, I will go on and on and on. But we do have members in our chapters who are great at it. Like, for example, Casey. Like, oh, yeah.
All right, you know what? Also, a piece of advice. Come on up. That was a great act of a membership vice president right there. Write that in your notebook. Delegate the task to somebody who's good at it, baby. Oh, snap. He brought his own.
Yeah.
All right, Casey.
Hey.
Give us your elevator speech.
Well, you're not going to do it
Hi.
with me?
Hey.
Okay. Hey, how are you doing, Carol?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Awesome. Are you between the age of 18 and 20? I'm just kidding.
That's a weird
I'm not
question.
gonna do that. I'm just kidding.
JCI
but-
Muskegon. What's that on your shirt?
Yeah, so JCI, what we are is we're a local nonprofit, but we're also an international organization who does a lot of stuff at the bottom. So we do a lot of stuff locally in the community. And what I tell people is you can make it what you want to make out of it. So if you just want to go and grab a beer with some people and have some friends, sweet. If you want to organize a parade, they have all these amazing opportunities to help build young leaders. That's what I'd say.
All right,
Sorry.
you were good at that.
See,
The buzzword for me was international organization. Right at the beginning. I was like, you're a what? Like, I know that. I literally know that. And I just like got interested in joining. I'm too old. All right. Don't recruit me. I'm too old.
see, where I was going with that is I know my strengths and weaknesses as a JC. And I know where my members' strengths lie. Like, I know people like Casey and a few others can crush it at 1-minute elevator speeches. I know I can't. But if I see you out at an event, I'll mingle with you. I'll talk with you. But if you're asking for the 1-minute speech, I'll be sure to have somebody like Casey with me.
Knowing that about yourself is so important.
You know what, Casey, you just nailed it so hard. Emily, do you have a great one? Do you want to give one? Do you have anything to add?
I don't know if I want to follow that. That was pretty good.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm giving you an out if you'd like it.
it doesn't matter.
All right. All right. You know what? Damn, that was a good question. All right. We went too long. We're gonna keep going with questions, all right? So, oh yeah, all right. Minnesota. I'm coming. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I am from JCI, Minnesota. I'm President Proxy. Woo. So my question, it's kind of a multi-part question. So I want to hear from your guys' experiences. What's a time where you lost a member for a certain reason? What was that reason? And then how did you pivot? How did you take that experience and change something within your chapter, your state, to kind of address that issue?
That's juicy.
I got one. Okay. All right. So this is actually from like the year I first joined the chapter. So it was a very interesting experience. So we had a event that we used to run called Kegs and Corks. And this kind of wraps up everything that we've been talking about today. The project manager was one of those, I'll take care of it. Oh, I've got it. Oh, whatever. It's a huge project, right? Well, it kind of shit the bed that year. We've never done a Kegs and Quartz since then, just to put it lightly. The event fell apart for a number of reasons, including a number of reasons. That member was very unhappy with how the event turned out, perceived lack of support. It was problematic. She left, and she was a very important member for us. So we pivoted and never let people solely run projects ever again, for one. But it was just a really big eye-opening thing for me as a new member. And the pivot was, how do we never make sure this never happens again? And it was communication. It was checking in on those projects. How is this project going? Are we following up? Really talking to people about delegating, because she got so burnt out, and people did not step up and really say, no, this load needs to be shared. She completely burned out and left. And we haven't had that problem since. We have had members leave, but that was a reason that I thought was really interesting, especially literally my first year as a JC. So.
And I think problem that probably most of the chapters have had is members leaving from drama within the chapter. We've had, one of the times was probably the worst, is we had two girls that were both on the board that did not get along. So they were openly screaming at each other during membership meetings, which you cannot have. And with that, it was a matter of just sitting down and talking to them, and we were able to resolve the issue and be like, you guys don't have to like each other, but you can't do this in the membership meetings in front of the people. So really identifying what's causing the drama and trying to nip that in the bud, making sure that you keep that internal. We used to always say, never bitch down, always bitch up. You don't want the general members seeing any of the drama that's going on behind the scenes, because that will chase your membership away very quickly.
Bitch up, praise down.
It's okay to praise up too.
Yes. But don't switch it. You can add the praise both ways, but the bitch only goes up.
That's right. That's right. Questions, anybody else? Oh, we got one back here. While I'm walking over to Emily, I will say I see really quite often, we forget that our board members of our chapters are members. You still have to send them a birthday card too. Like, oh, they don't need it. They're on the board. They already know we like them. They might not. They might be thinking about quitting right now and you don't know it. Here's Emily.
Thank you, Carol.
I'm like, do you feel appreciated? We appreciate you.
Yes, I do. Thank you. I do. Mostly because I see President Karina all the time, and she tells me how lovely I am all the time, and it's great.
I also like to come to my house.
She'll tell you you're great. I would like to know how you all recommend diversity, equity, and inclusion play into recruitment and retention.
Springfield took an active role in this, seeing that we were very, very white, very, very white, and very not well represented in our community. Like I kind of mentioned, one of the first projects I ever ran was I had us share a tent with a long-term community partner called Coral, a Coalition of Rainbow Alliances. We had worked with them on parade stuff. We used their space. We were able to be present there. We have connected with our local Juneteenth celebration, which has been going on. It'll be 30 years next year, and have a working relationship on their project. Juneteenth, and they come and work with us on our 4th of July stuff. Again, festivals, whatever, signing up. Like we didn't even have a booth at Juneteenth. We just went around and helped pop everybody's tents and wore our shirts, right? It's about the basis of it. Truly is just being in your community. Again, that authenticity. If you just start trying to recruit and pick certain types of people, you're gonna get busted, dude, and you're gonna look stupid. Don't do that. It is important, yes, to recruit, but why are you doing it, right? And you want to reflect your community. I will say proudly, 2 members of our board of directors this year are people of color, one of whom is an immigrant. So I take huge pride in those strides that we have made as an organization. It is work. You put in those relationships, not necessarily knowing you're going to get membership directly out of that, but that you are going to be seen in your community as a group that people are safe with, right? That people can come to, and it works. It really does. People reach out to us for stuff all the time to help out. We can't do everything, but they know that we are a group that is open and inclusive and wants to be that way, even if we aren't necessarily there yet ourselves.
That was great. Oh, Emily?
I was just going to say she pretty much nailed it on the
Yeah.
head with that one too. I mean, partnering with organizations and being out in your community. Like she said, don't do it just looking for members. Do it to actually be part of your community and let those groups know that they are safe with you.
And also, just to slightly piggyback off of that, you partner with these organizations because your members are passionate about these organizations. Like I don't actively look to partner with Muskegon Young Black Professionals because I'm a black guy, because I value the things they stand for. And we don't partner with Muskegon Pride just because, we need to look good for the community. We have, what they stand for is important to our members. And that's all I got for that. You pretty much crushed it.
All right, Kaylee, did I see a question up here?
What advice do you guys have for the members that might be a little bit on the shyer side or more quiet side on how they can recruit? Because I feel like a lot of people just kind of default to, oh, they're the loud one in the group. They're going to recruit everybody. So how do we encourage all members to understand that they have a role in recruiting?
Who in this room knows Phil Cooper? Is Phil Cooper the loudest person you know? Phil Cooper is one of the best recruiters that I know. He has recruited multiple members to our chapter. He is all about the JCs. So you've got to get them comfortable. They are great in your situations that are smaller, social, where you can have that one-on-one connection time. You're not putting them up in front of a stage of people. And he loves the organization, right? We don't pressure him to do stuff. He goes out and recruits people on his own. Like, he's just like, oh, I'm bringing somebody. Oh, I invited a friend. Like, your quiet ones are not necessarily the ones. So connect with them and see, they may just need a recruiting tool. They just may need a little bit of an elevator pitch, a little bit of help in broaching that. But don't count out your quiet ones. Phil Cooper is a good recruiter, guys. I'm just saying. And you can all tell him I said that too.
I think too, a lot of the programs that we have in the JCs help people to get over some of that shyness too. Like, DeMarcus shared earlier that he was petrified of public speaking, and he's up here on a membership panel. That's great. So I think doing a lot of those activities can really help people, and you can even do role playing within your chapter. Get them comfortable with it so it's not such a scary thing to do.
Now, as y'all know, I'm one for trying to step out of your comfort zone, but for the Shire members, I always advise them not to push yourself too hard, because if you try to just jump straight out of your comfort zone and go all extrovert when you know you're an introvert, you are going to flop. So start with your circle. Start with your close friends. Start with your cousins. Start with the guy you work with that you like more than everybody else. And who knows, maybe the person you bring might be a little more extroverted than you. That person you bring might bring on 3 more people. So there's nothing wrong with going at your own pace when it comes to recruiting.
I think that the quiet people are also really good for, can you Google our town and give me every organization that has diversity in their values statement? Like, find me a list of places and a list of emails that I need to contact. They're really good at that job, which is part of recruiting. You can take stickers. I like to put them at coffee houses and leave them. Go to a Barnes and Noble and stick them in every business book. I know, right? We did that at the theater for a zombie flick. We put flyers in all of the zombie books in Barnes and Noble and sold that every night. Anyway.
Hi, everyone. So I have a question about the tools or resources you're using. So I'm curious what tools, resources, engagement pieces that you use to not only like keep in touch with the new people outside of like texting. I know that's great. Slash recruiting people. Like, I mean, what I mean is like, do you have like glue up, but something more localized that you guys are using for follow up engagement of members, newsletters, whatever? What have you found to like work well?
I think it's something that is kind of different with every chapter that I've seen. Different people respond to different modes of communication. Our current chapter president, she reaches out on Facebook, text message, WhatsApp. She uses every form of communication she can to communicate with them, just because people have different things that they respond to.
We use a lot of Facebook. That's just like kind of community wise where most events happen. It's not necessarily my favorite, and I know that like people have tried to move away from it, but unfortunately, if you want your event to be seen in Springfield, Illinois, you got to put it on Facebook. Like, that's just how it is. In terms of local things, we have a members page. When I was chapter president, one of the things I really did was we had every board member had a list of members that they checked in with, and we would have them do occasional check-ins, whether it was coming to the GMM or coming to a certain event, whatever. Those board members were tasked with those same people every month or every whatever, and just kept. And it actually worked out. Some of them, those kind of, they would end up texting about other random things, and so it ended up, kind of working. So texting, I don't know. Some people are into it. I'm a texter. I'm not a caller. If you text me, I'm probably going to respond. If you call me, I'm going to stare at my phone until it stops ringing. So,
I'd say one tool that we use that we are really proud of is our interactive calendar on our website. Like, as sad as it is to say, I can't be around every potential member that gets recruited, so I can't always get their Facebook, get their phone number, get their emails. But we always try to, like, I don't want to say push. Like, we always recommend, all right, check out our website, and if, like, we all have all of our events coming up on there, and there's also like our board members' contact info in there too. And also we use like Facebook, LinkedIn, emails, whatever they're more comfortable with. Like, yeah.
I do think with new members, though, nothing beats personal interaction and reaching out to them. Like, the chapter president should reach out personally to every single new member, find out about them, ask them questions, what they're interested in. And don't just reach out to your members when you need them for something. Like, if you haven't seen one in a while, just call them to check in. Don't ask them to come out and volunteer for a project or anything. Just see how they're doing. Check in on them.
I'm totally flashing back to my president year now. Wow, weird. So one thing I did my chapter president year, we got new shirts, and I wrote a personal note to every single member, and hand delivered those shirts and those notes to every single one. My board members, because they already had their shirts, I mailed them all a letter written to them. It took time, but they were all personal, and I got a lot of really great feedback from that. If that's not your thing, it's not your thing, but a lot of people were really appreciative of that.
But what if I don't know who the person is on the list?
It's a great time to go meet them.
That's right. Ann Arbor is wild with Meetup. It has not been as successful in other chapters yet that we have seen, but you have to really check the community that you're in and if they're using Meetup first. But when it works, it works.
And just to add, so Glue Up actually has a cool tool that isn't widely used. If you, oh, I know. Did I say that? Glue up is cool. Watch my mouth. So there's a cool contact feature where if you add a contact, a prospect, you don't add them as a prospect, you add them as a contact. You can put notes about that person. So like saw at the membership table and likes the Chicago Cubs or something like that. That's kind of almost like a prospect management tool. Add their email on there, and so then you can see when they open the emails or kind of be a little creepy like that. But it's a good way to track your prospects and then making sure they're still informed and using email versus social media for that.
Last year when we were presidents together and Glue Up was first new, Eric was really not a fan, okay? I'm proud of you, buddy. And he's not wrong. Michigan used it last year when we did the raffle. We put all of our contacts in. We were able to email all of those prospects, and it was a cool free tool that we had.
I think we're at the time where we have like one more. We can do one more question. I have a question, but does anyone else have a question? Ooh.
Earlier, you mentioned setting up tables at local community events and everything. What do you put on your table or do to attract all the people that are at the event to come to your table?
Swag is cool. This is one of those situations where actual swag, not the stickers that Carol has made, but actual swag is helpful. Obviously, if you don't have a budget, that's kind of hard. We also have, what was it? It was my president year, so I think it was 2021. We got those boards. So you may remember that, the big membership boards. Am I crazy? Okay, I'm getting a nod. I'm not totally crazy. We use that and have that propped up. That has photos of our projects, information about our projects. We have our little membership cards with the QR code. We have pens. We have a nice tablecloth. And then we have, it's the people, I think, that are really the most important part. Obviously having, so you can jot down information, but who you have is your essential. Somebody that can give an elevator pitch, somebody that is really excited, a newer person, a younger person, right? The biggest thing about your membership table is who is there and what they can talk about. Because you really don't even need the table. You can just have people in shirts if you really need it. So it's the people that are the most important.
And also something we used to do an event at the local college every year on their opening day when the kids were coming in to see the things about the community. And we used to always have a guess how many jelly beans are in the jar. And they would put down their name and their email address and their guess on the sheet for it. That way we captured all their email addresses. So we had, number one, an email if we needed volunteers. We would send them our monthly newsletter so they knew what was going on with the chapter. And we actually got quite a few members just from doing that on it. Something else to get people to come to our table too is our chapter actually has a mascot. We have Sol the JC Bear. We always have someone at events that shows up dressed up at that. We've actually done mascot parties with other organizations in the area, like the local baseball team and other places that have mascots as well. So something fun to get people there and a way that you can capture their information as well.
Oh, and those spinning wheels, those were fun too. We used to be, I'm like old and don't follow any of those things, but we had one that like you spun it and they made you do a Vine, which I guess is now TikTok or whatever, where you had to like do a dance or I don't know. It was, people thought it was fun and they came up and like, oh, and candy, people like candy.
Cool. Thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause.
All right, sorry guys, before we wrap this up, I just want to leave the crowd with one thing. I want you all to think about this one thing. After you join JC's, think about what it is that made you stay. And as you all are going out into the community, spreading the word and love of JCI, keep that in mind and try to pass that feeling along to everybody else that you talk to.
I love that. It's my favorite piece of recruiting advice, actually, is invite them to volunteer at an event. Show them the impact that they're going to make. Because if they join for the reason that they're going to end up staying, then we don't have to have this conversation anymore. Why'd you join? Why'd you stay? The goal should be to stop having that conversation. It should be the same because you were so inspired, right? They stay forever. All right. Whew, thank you, panel. You've been lovely. Ladies, do you have any last advice? Everybody covered pretty much anything. Anything burning, desire. These three are here. I really encourage you all to be talking about this stuff while you're out on a town. Wearing the swag is great, but if you're actually talking about the good parts of the organization, share stories together tonight. Tell each other what kind of chapter projects you're doing. Talk about it out there where people can hear you and they're like, wait, what? I want to know.